हाय अंबरीश भल अछंती
Yes, sir.
कोठु घर कोठी
Sambalpur.
अच्छा अच्छा अपन जॉइन करछंती एमए फिलॉसफी रे ना कोन
Yes, yes.
केबे जॉइन करले
Actually, January 2024 batch.
अच्छा अच्छा
Sorry, 2023 batch.
हां 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 तो अभी अपन कोठी जॉब करछंती ना कोन
ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ non-profit ଅଛି ସେଥିରେ ମୁଁ କାମ କରୁଛି.
अच्छा
I am a
संबलपुर
mechanical engineer, but I left mechanical engineering, and we are kind of we have started a non-profit, which is like kind of like a social movement towards a new type of socio-economic political system.
I see so you after engineering you started thinking about some issues then interested in philosophy some
Yeah, I worked in engineering for about 8 years.
oh, okay
Yeah, then
and where did you do your btech
from Jorhat Engineering College, Dibrugarh University.
oh the Brugger University good very good so requesting others participants, learners, or students, whatever you say. So kindly switch on your video. At least first day I could able to recognize who are there, other side. Yeah, Joshna Patra, I could see the names. Pankajini Mohanty, Swagatika Das, Snigdha Mishra, then Vishnu Priya, Satan something. So, like, how was your experience? Last module also, these kind of people were attending, or more than this people were attending?
Yeah, approximately these numbers were there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so philosophy. Okay, so how was the other model? You liked it, something like that?
Yeah, it was very engaging, and so last module was logic, so there was a lot of exercises that we had to do. And before that, philosophy of human person, it was more lecture type, so we were just listening.
Good. So my class would be mostly it is a debate. Like I'll ask certain questions, you'll reflect on it based on your experience, whatever you think, why do you think, and all this that matters. So I want that others should also, switch on their video so that I could able to see who is where, so that first day we can learn each other, then we proceed. So all of us, all of you can able to switch on your video. Is that okay? Otherwise, it will be difficult for me to speak to a screen without knowing who is there in other side. Take a time and switch on your video. That would be nice. What happened? Pankajini, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So can you switch on your video? Yes, good. Snigdha, are you there? Snigdha S. Mishra.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Could you,
5 minutes, please.
okay, 5 minutes, please. Swagatika Das, are you there? Okay, good. Joshna Patra, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you switch on your video? Let me know who is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then Vishnu Priya Das, are you there?
Sir.
Are you there? Good. Can you switch on your video, please? It's necessary to have an interaction. Otherwise, like I'll be speaking to the screen. Good. So teaching learning takes place only when we interact with each other. Vishnu Priya, would you like to take some more time to switch on the video, something like that? Okay. So now, Satan, where are you from?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from? Which town you are from? Are you from Odisha or some other?
Sir, Borgad district, Parampur.
अच्छा अच्छा बरगढ़ डिस्ट्रिक्ट बरहमपुर खरा केते जोर से
Parampur na sir, Parampur sir.
को जगह
Padmapura.
पद्मपुरा खरा जोर हेलानी ना शीत छाड़लानी ना केमती कण
Sir, ସେଇ average ଅଛି ମାନେ ଟିକେ ଗରମ ରହୁଛି ଏବେ.
अच्छा अच्छा विष्णुप्रिया कोठारु वेयर आर यू फ्रॉम
Khotha.
Huh?
Khotha.
Khorda. Okay. Near to Jatni or far away from Jatni?
Away from Jatni.
Okay, good. Now, Joshna, where are you from?
Sir, Balesar district, Jalsar.
Jaleshwar. Very good, very good. So this is you are doing for getting a certificate, or you are planning to planning to be a like lecturer somewhere in future, or joining as a college teacher or school teacher. What is your motive to do MA philosophy?
Sir, school teacher.
Good, good, good. Swagatika, Swagatika, are you there, or you will take time? Okay. Meantime, I'll move on to Pankajini. Pankajini, Koutaru, where are you from? Mic mute ଅଛି ଶୁଣା ଯାଉନି।
ସାର୍ ବାଲେଶ୍ଵର।
କୋଉ ଜାଗା ବାଲେଶ୍ୱର?
ସାର୍ ବାଲେଶ୍ଵର ଆମ ସହଦେବ ଖଣ୍ଡା ବାଲେଶ୍ଵର।
ସହଦେବ ଖଣ୍ଡା ନା ବସଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡ ପାଖାପାଖି।
ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡ ପାଖରେ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ଭଲ ହେଲା। ଏ କଣ ସବୁ MA ଫିଲୋସଫି କରିବାର କଣ ଅଛି, ମାନେ ବିଇଡି କରିକି କୋଉ ସ୍କୁଲ ଟିଚର ନା କଲେଜ ଲେକ୍ଚର ନା କଣ ମୋଟିଭ?
କଲେଜ ଟିଚର। ସାର୍
କଲେଜ।
ମୋର ରେ +2 FM ଜୁନିୟର କଲେଜ, +3 BA ଫିଲୋସଫି ଅନର୍ସ ରେ UN ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ରନାଥ ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କଲେଜ, ଆଉ PG ଇଗ୍ନୋରେ।
+3 BA ଫିଲୋସଫି କୋଉଠି? FM ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ମାନେ ଫକୀରମୋହନ କଲେଜରେ?
ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ରନାଥ ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କଲେଜ ସ୍ୱର।
ଓ ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ସ୍ୱରରେ ନା, ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା ଭଲ ହେଲା। ଆଚ୍ଛା ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ MA ଫିଲୋସଫିରେ କ'ଣ ସବୁ ଯୋଉ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ମଡ୍ୟୁଲ ସବୁ ପଢିଲା, ସବୁ ପ୍ରଫେସର ମାନେ ପଢେଇଲେ, ମୁଁ ତ ଅମ୍ବରୀଶ ବାବୁଙ୍କ ସହିତ କଥା ହେଲି, ସେ କହୁଥିଲେ ଭଲ ଅଛି ଲଜିକ୍ ଅଛି। ତମମାନଙ୍କର ସବୁ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ କ'ଣ ଅଛି? ମୋ କ୍ଲାସରେ ନା ସବୁ ଆଟେଣ୍ଟିଭ ହେଇକି ସବୁ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିବା ହେଲା। ଏଥିରେ ଲାଜ କରିବାର ନାହିଁ, କିଛି ଭୟ କରିବାର କିଛି ନାହିଁ କି ଏହା କହିଦେଲେ ଭୁଲ ହେଇଯିବ କି ସେୟା କହିଦେଲେ ଠିକ ହେଇଯିବ। ଫିଲୋସଫିରେ ଆମେ ଯାହା କହିବା ଯଦି ଭୁଲ ହବ then we can correct it. If we are not speaking anything, then we'll say that perhaps we will be considering the incorrect information as the correct information. That becomes a false for us. Correct, no? Some,
ମୋ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଟା ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଥିଲା। ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ତ ଆମେ ହ୍ୟୁମାନ ପର୍ସନ ଉପରେ କେଏମ୍ ନାରାୟଣ ସାରଙ୍କର କ୍ଲାସ ଆଟେଣ୍ଡ କଲୁ। ତ ତାଙ୍କର ସବୁ ବୁକ୍, ମାନେ ଆଜି +2 ପାଖରୁ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ ଲେଭେଲରେ ମୁଁ କେଏମ୍ ସାରଙ୍କର ବୁକ୍ ହିଁ ଫଲୋ କରୁଥିଲି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା
ତ କ୍ଲାସ ଟା ବହୁତ, ମାନେ ମୋ ପାଇଁ ବହୁତ ମାନେ ମେମୋରେବୁଲ ଥିଲା ସେ 4ଟା କ୍ଲାସ। ଆଉ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ କରୁଥିଲେ ଯୋଉ କ୍ଲାସ, ସିଏ ବି ବହୁତ ମାନେ ପୁରା ମାନେ କମ, ମାନେ ଆମେ 5 ବର୍ଷ ସିଲାବସ କୁ ସେ 4 ଦିନରେ ସେ ସାରିଛନ୍ତି। ମାନେ ସେଇଟା ତାଙ୍କୁ ବହୁତ ମାନେ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ମ୍ୟାମଙ୍କୁ।
okay. So how are you managing 4 to 6 every day? Is it little difficult or you are okay with that? 4 to 6 every day, is it okay for all of you? Ambrish, is it okay or you are
It's okay
difficult?
for me.
Okay for you? Okay.
Yeah.
जोशना कौन फिलोसफी आम कहीं पढ़ा केमती जाना कौन करवा कौन फिलोसफी कौन अच्छी सब कौटी +2 कौटी कले where did you complete your +2?
DK college.
And +3?
DK college.
वाह भल है सतन कौटी +2 तुम कौटी तुम माइक टा म्यूट अच्छी बोले तुम शब्दटा आसुनी
ସାର୍ +2 ଟା ଥିଲା ଲକ୍ଷ୍ମଣା କଲେଜଟା, ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନଟା ଅଞ୍ଚଳ କଲେଜ ପଦ୍ମପୁର।
वाह भल है अच्छा
ସାର୍ ନା ସାର୍ ପ୍ରକୃତରେ ମୋର ସାର୍ PhD ଟା ଏବେ ଜଷ୍ଟ ଥେସିସ୍ ଡିପୋଜିଟ୍ ସରିଛି ସାର୍।
PhD सर जाइए
ହଁ ସାର୍।
अरे बढ़िया है पुणी MA करके आउ कोन लाउ तो PhD तो सब ऊपर है ता ऊपर तो
ନା
नहीं
ସାର୍ ଗୋଟେ ନିଜ ପାଇଁ ସାର୍ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା କୋର୍ସ ମୁଁ କିଛି ବୁଝିବି ଜାଣିବି ବୋଲି କରୁଛି ସାର୍।
अच्छा अच्छा ना भल है PhD को सब्जेक्ट रे
ସାର୍ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ସାର୍।
वाह भल है
ହଁ ସାର୍।
Snigdha, can you now come back to the screen? Snigdha and Swagatika. Snigdha, yes, thanks. So,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. Where are you from?
Bhubaneswar,
कोई जगह भुवनेश्वर रे?
Lakshmi Sagar.
अच्छा अच्छा +2 कोठी?
+2 PN Junior, Khordha.
खोर्धा ଆଉ +3?
+3 Ramadevi Women's College.
अच्छा अच्छा रमादेवी सब को माने अछंती फिलोसफी रे माने फिलोसफी पढौछंती?
Philosophy ମୁଁ କରିନି sir.
कोउतरे
ମୋର chemistry ଥିଲା.
कोउतरे?
Chemistry honors.
Chemistry to philosophy, that's an excellent. So when you
Sir ମୋର PG ବି ଅଛି.
अच्छा
ପିଜି
ଏବେ
ବି ଗୋଟେ କରିସାରିଛି
କୋଉଥିରେ କୋଉ ସବଜେକ୍ଟରେ?
ପଲିମର ସାଇନ୍ସ।
अरे वाह पुणी फिलोसफी रे कौन दरकार ये तो केमिस्ट्री ହେଇଗଲା पॉलिटिकल साइंस ହେଇଗଲା so enough knowledge to get into good job
ଜବ୍ ପରେ ଆଗ ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ଦରକାର, ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା ନଲେଜ ଦରକାର।
very good happy to hear that ଆଉ କିଏ ରହିଲେ ଆମର ସ୍ୱାଗତିକା ଦାସଙ୍କ ସହିତ କଥା ହେଇନାହିଁ ସ୍ୱାଗତିକା just brief about yourself କୋଉଠି ପ୍ଲସ୍ ଟୁ ପଢିଲ କୋଉଠି ପ୍ଲସ୍ ଥ୍ରୀ ରହିଛ ଫିଲୋସଫି କାହିଁକି ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟ ହେଇଛ this is the first class we should know each other and everybody should interact with me don't think that as a public lecture I'll start coming and giving lecture blah 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 you'll be listening it will be very boring sometimes you'll feel sleepy so my challenge is to make you active in the afternoon because afternoon if you listen my lecture half an hour you'll feel dull somebody speaking so many things but if you start interacting with me so it means you'll remain active so learning will take place is that okay Swagatika kuh plus 2 kouti plus 3 kouti philosophy kahinki rakhilo just make yourself acquainted yeah तो mic mute ଅଛି ସ୍ୱାଗତିକା ତମ mic ଟାକୁ unmute କର ହଁ
ମୋର ମାର୍ଶାଘାଇ ଓମେନ୍ସ କଲେଜ ଥିଲା +2 +3 ଥିଲା ମାର୍ଶାଘାଇ ଡିଗ୍ରୀ କଲେଜ ଏବେ ତ ପିଜି ଇଗ୍ନୋରେ
ଭଲ ହେଲା ଭଲ Vishnupriya Das are you there can we have an interaction with you if you are there
yes sir
come into the screen please would you like to take some is it okay if you will be switching on your video or you are having network problem
network problem
okay fine so remain in audio so what we are planning to do any kind of opinion you want to make is open for everybody Ambrisha Joshna Snigdha Pankajini all of you want to share even Satan what are things you want to learn from this model
मैं +2 होची मोहन महिला वुमेन्स कॉलेज ग्रेजुएशन मोर बलांग कॉलेज
okay
पूरी आ मु बीएड करची
okay. very good
हाँ
very nice
माने एक्स्ट्रा किसी नॉलेज पाई पीजी गोटा एडमिशन करची
okay so the background is like diverse I am very happy so we the philosophers we need to teach some of the students those who have a diverse background so that you'll have a diverse perspective to look into certain issues some philosophical problems those are related to contemporary society and otherwise so we have someone from chemistry someone from mechanical engineering someone from odia somebody from education background somebody from political science philosophy excellent I was expecting nearly 50, 60 because this is online, but very happy to know that only few so that I can interact with you in person. That would be nice. Acha, what are the things that you expect from this model? This is going for 8 days. Correct, no? This model will go for 8 days in the upcoming week also, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah,
8 days.
yeah,
So 8 days in our life plays a very great role, not just philosophy course. 8 days is a very big day, isn't it? In 8 days you can cover whole Europe too. If you go to Switzerland and other side of this Europe, 8 days would be enough to cover the Europe as a country and almost other country. So therefore, I cannot take you Europe, but certainly I can take you to the philosophy domain where you can learn something, you can take away something from that. So learning would be nice. Is that okay? So
yeah,
this is mostly pertaining to Indian philosophy. Did you? Am I correct or not? Is it something to do
yes,
with Indian philosophy?
yes. So I have some lot of personal questions which are in the broader realm of philosophy, but like I will only put forward those questions
No,
if
no, no. You can discuss with me. You just feel frank.
okay.
You can ask any question comes to your mind except heroes heroines and other things which I am not aware of. I'll not be able to answer all the question that comes to your mind, engineering question, basic science question, philosophy question, non-philosophy question. I will put an effort to answer that question so that if similar question will come in others mind they will also get an answer. Okay, so do
Right.
not hesitate to ask the questions, feel free, ask.
Yeah, so since 2012, I have been very much interested in the very fundamental questions about reality. And I also kind of, I was working with the Tata Consultancy Services. I left my job just to explore these questions. And one of the things, like first I was exposed little bit to the Indian philosophy, Advaita tradition. I even I was in Uttarakhand. I visited various like Kailash ashram, Advaita scholars living in Uttarakhand. Then I also explored little bit about Marxism, socialist movements, because I'm associated with a movement which is trying to bring a new type of socio-economic political system, and we are questioning that what is the problem with existing socio-economic political systems, primarily why capitalism and socialisms have failed to deliver good life for majority of people. And in trying to find answers to those questions, I am looking various philosophies. But one thing I am not able to understand, why in academic field, I am what I am understanding is that physicalism and idealism are two dominant approaches towards reality, and dualism is also one approach.
Mm.
And the fourth I outlined as dual aspect monism, which is not having so much clout maybe in the academic sphere. I want to know if which appeals to me the most, dual aspect monism,
Mm.
because I feel that idealism and physicalism both do not uh, they are, like for example, if I discard the material world and call it as a derivative of consciousness, and say that this is not the real reality, ultimate reality, then it does not appeal to me, because I feel that then what is the meaning of this world? And I am not able to relate with this idea that absolute reality, because of some because I'm not able to understand the reasons why it would break its form, and we, due to some ignorance, we will land up here, and again we have to go back to absolute, to realize the absolute nature of reality. So
Mm.
for me, I'm not able to make sense of this. On the other hand, physicalism also I'm not able to make sense, which it feels like we are in an indifferent world, and matter is the ultimate thing, our consciousness is just like a emergent property.
Mm.
So for me, both of them are oppressive in some sense.
Mm.
For me, dual aspect monism offers little hope, but I see that maybe in academic sphere this is not so much talked about. I'm not sure. I want to know from you, and why philosophers are so much in disagreement about ultimate aim of life. Like,
Okay.
um, mm, for example, according to me,
Mm.
ultimate aim of life is that we want to be happy by gyan, karma, bhog, and we want to take vishram
Uh,
sometimes, and we want to live the life of our choice.
yeah.
To me, every this is common thing. Of course, we can debate a lot about what constitutes happiness.
Monday. Monday. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So for me, it is very like simple that we all want to live happiness, live a life of happiness of our choice. The next question could be how it is possible, but if we just ignore that for the time being, why there is not agreement on this one also? Like we all want to live good life here, even this academic sphere, if because if we don't make a decision on that, then how we will have good systems out there? Because one will be saying that this is not reality, this is maya, and ultimately we have to go back to realize, get enlightenment. Then why do we need hospitals and schools here?
Uh,
And Right. And if we say this is all material world, then also what is the problem in killing each other? Because ultimate there is no ultimate meaning to this. So for me, these two are not humanistic philosophies. So and to, for me, it is a little difficult to understand. At least on this point, why can't we come on agreement that we all want good life here? Yes, the details of that we can, you know, could be matter of academic discourse.
Mhm. Good. So I have noted down. Is there anyone who wants to add something, any concerns that you have, any queries that you have, or anything that you expect me to discuss in this module? Just feel free to express your thoughts and ideas with me.
Also, if possible, if you could just like I have interest in getting into academic sphere, like hardcore academic research.
Okay.
So right now I am pursuing this master's program, but if you could guide us also how we can move towards academic field,
Mhm.
that would be I would be very grateful for this mentorship.
Good. So, anyone else? Thanks, Ambrish. Just speaking your mind. That's I appreciate it. Santosh Abu, namaskar. Bhalo achanti?
Namaskar.
Your microphone is on. Control E. Your camera is off.
Good.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Again, again.
Your camera is off.
Bhalo.
So it's nice. Your class is doing very nicely. Continue.
Yes. So, others, anyone who wants to add something? I'll start with the academic field. Ambrish, that's a good question. Like somebody said that. What?
Students, I just introduced Sir first. Sir is a professor in IIT Chennai. So you are very fortunate. And Sir is, I mean, writer of all this content. What paper is going to taught you? I mean, he is the brainchild of this paper. So you are very, very fortunate. He's an excellent academician and he's an excellent teacher. So you should, I mean, enjoy his class. Continue, sir.
Thank you, Santosh. All right. So, as I told you earlier, that all of you are feel free to ask me questions anytime you ask me question that comes to your mind. So we'll have interaction. First, I will start with a encouragement words so that you will know why you want to study philosophy. You'll say, what is there in philosophy? I'll say that there are jobs if you do good work in philosophy.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, Joshna.
Sir, ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ question ପଚାରିବି।
Of course, huh? Pachar.
Sir, sir, ignore PG and distance ମାନେ regular PG ଭିତରେ କ'ଣ sir ଫରକ ବୁଝେଇଦେବେ।
ସନ୍ତୋଷ ସାର୍ କେ ସାମ୍ନାରେ difficult question ପଚାରୁଛ ଯେ ଏଟା difficult question। ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୁଁ ସେଇ question କୁ ଉତ୍ତର ଦେବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଗୋଟେ ଏକାଡେମିକ ଫିଲ୍ଡ ବିଷୟରେ କହୁଛି ହେଲା ତାପରେ ଆମେ ସେଇ question କୁ ଆସିବା ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଆନ୍ସର ଦେବି ଓକେ
Yes,
Amrish
sir.
questions are very important let me answer one after another so that you develop some kind of confidence on philosophy. Many people believe philosophy means it's something to do with religion or theology. That's a message that everyone gets it as of now. So the time has come, young people like you and others, those who have joined in philosophy, should tell them that philosophy is not limited to theology and religion. Theology and religion, where you say Christianity, Judaism, say Hinduism, Islam, and all these things, just one aspect of philosophy that we call philosophy of religion. But beyond that, we have a topic like philosophy of language, philosophy of mind, consciousness studies, like some questions you ask based on consciousness studies. Then philosophy of biotechnology, philosophy of computer science, philosophy of mathematics, philosophy of electronics. That's a part of engineering. Besides that, we can go for business ethics, where anyone who has done business ethics can able to join in all the IM available on this earth. IM. Anyone who learns engineering ethics can able to teach all the engineers across the institution available in India and outside India. Those who study medical ethics or those who have knowledge about medical ethics, AIMS and other medical institutions, door are open for them. They can sit with the doctors, work with the doctors and teach to all the young doctors about medical ethics. So therefore, philosophy covers a gamut of job. Now, in addition to that, those are interested to get job in the very young age. Take philosophy as a civil service. So whether you appear for UPSC or state civil services, philosophy is going to give you a very good score to clear the UPSC at one go. But only concerns as of now that these things are not spreaded across India. And therefore, many people believe philosophy means something to do with salvation, something to do with the dissociation from worldly pleasures, worldly attachment, something to do with staying away from human suffering and pain. These are not correct information. So, therefore, I would say if somebody asks me, what shall I do after studying philosophy? I say that philosophy can open so much knowledge for you that you can be associated with medical science, engineering science, basic science, social science, humanities, and management science. That's all about philosophy. Now, coming to the next question, as Joshna asked, I would say today, since IGNO programs are recognized by UGC and others, so more or less in many university setup, you find the department giving equal importance to the candidate who have a degree that is already validated by an accrediting agency. So therefore, only difference you will find that you need to be self-motivated to learn the units and blocks that are written by the great minds that will be available in your room or in your own pace availability. You can read the units, blocks, and write the content and submit the assignment responses on time. Whereas in face to face, all your doubts, all your queries can be clarified immediately by the professor who will be an instructor for that course. That's the basic difference. Nothing.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes.
Now, coming to the next question, why so much kind of discussion about reality? Why people have taken multiple perspective? This is a research question mostly. People ask, why can't we have only one perspective to answer one questions? If it is mathematics, 2 plus 2, then we say it's a 4. But if it is a social problem, if it is a philosophical problem, that would not have an answer in that way. Merely because mathematics has an objective. That is, all of us we know after 1, 2 will come, after 2, 3 will come. It's a kind of objective. For everybody, it is the same number. But when it comes to social problems, it depends on where we born, what we believe in, what religious belief that we practice in, what culture that we adopt ourselves, what kind of food habit we have, what kind of ideology that we are tuned to. So all this put together help us to understand a social problem or philosophical problem. And because of this, I would say the question, what is reality, can be answered by different people in their own ways. It can't have one answer. For example, I'll ask you one question. Let's say, by raising my right hand, I can ask you, can you explain my right hand? You think about explaining my right hand, then you start noting down that 5 statement or 10 statement that explain my right hand. Another of your classmate or say another learner can write about my right hand, let's say 2 statements. Somebody can write with 20 statements. Why? Because depending on their pre-existing knowledge, depending on their prior informations, they are going to identify my right hand, can able to explain that. So in Wittgenstein, you heard about the philosopher named called Wittgenstein, in a contemporary thinker. He says, the limit of my word is the limit of my world. So further, I would say the limit of my language or the limit of my word is the limit of my world. So the whole world can be explained by me only when I'm exposed to that. If my exposure is less, if the information that I have about the world is less, my perspective would be narrow. Those who have a wider knowledge, wider information, their perspective would be multiple. And this is how a reality can be explained in multiple ways. I'll add to that the theories of truth. Note down theories of truth. How shall we find out the truth about the world? How shall we find out the truth of the world? Just a second. So let's say first we'll say correspondence theory of truth. Correspondence, CORRES, correspondence theory of truth. What it says? It says that suppose an object is before you, a fact is before you. I'll ask, are you using your laptop? So laptop is an object. Or are you using your mobile phone? So mobile phone is that object. So you can say yes. Why? Because you can perceive it, you can touch it, or you can hear the sound that it creates. So three sense organs are involved to identify an object. That's a correspondence theory of truth. To find out the truth of the world, that is the reality, we use the correspondence theory. Something that corresponds through sense organs. In chemistry, it is explained that do not believe anything as truth unless until you experiment in the laboratory and find out its truth. An example I would say, suppose a small, say, glass, I'll take it. I'll put the water inside it, which is purely H2O. What is H2O, guys? Colorless, tasteless, blah blah, etc. Isn't it? Something like that. H2O is a pure water that we don't drink. If you drink it, you will find tasteless. You will not enjoy it, isn't it? So let's say you took H2O in a tube. Then you say, how much mud I need to put in so that the water will get contaminated. So that in TDS, there is a machine. TDS machine, you can measure it, whether it is drinkable or not. Those who are coming to your house for aquaguard cleaning, if you have a like Aero aquaguard or something, so they will be coming and checking the water, drinkable water percentage, isn't it? They'll tell you if the TDS is more than 100 plus, you will not be able to drink. It is not good for health. How many of you have experienced it? You heard about this TDS?
Yes.
Good. So similarly, the same correspondence theory of truth, chemistry, mechanical engineering, all the engineering on this earth, they'll tell you that look, here is a correspondence. Everything can be tested, everything can be verified. Then we'll find out the truth. So here, truth is very objective. Suppose there is a book in front of you. I can see it, your friend can see it, your family member can see it, or anybody who is coming outside, if he or she is a friend, you can invite, all of them can see it and find out the truth. That's a correspondence theory of truth. Then the next truth is about coherence theory of truth. Coherence, COHERENCE, coherence theory of truth. Coherence theory of truth is that truth where the reality can be known by knowing the informations from various sources and finding out the objective among all the informations. I'll give an example. Suppose tomorrow morning you read 2 or 3 or 4 newspapers, whatever your choice. You find the headline is something like that. Sambalpur is going to be a smart city. For example, this is just for an example sake. I'm not making any political statement or anything. This is just for example. Sambalpur become a smart city and few crores amount is given to the municipality corporation, something like that. And you'll find that most of the journalists, they'll write in their own ways to explain what are the development is going to take place and who has sanctioned this amount and so on and so forth. So now, since you are reading so many papers, and you'll find that different paper will have different heading altogether, but the essence is saying you will be believing the truth is that Sambalpur is going to be a smart city because certain amount has been sanctioned to develop that city. Yes or no? So therefore, you might not be knowing who has sanctioned it, at what time he or she has sanctioned it, how did the sanction takes place, how does the money will be transferred, who will be involved in making the city as a smart city. But since you get the informations from various sources, that would help you to understand that that's a truth, that's a reality, and therefore the reality can be known by knowing so much information. And while knowing so much information, you make a link among all the information and find out the truth. That's called coherence theory of truth. In today time, most of the people, they say if you do not know anything, do not believe the WhatsApp forward message. Why? Because You may not be knowing who is the root. You may not be knowing who believes in that or who propagates it. But the only thing that we receive from somebody. So therefore, getting the forward message in WhatsApp would not help you to understand the reality, will not help you to find out the truth. So coherence theory truth tells you that even the informations are written in different types, there is a commonality, there is an essence that you find in all this information, and that makes you to find out the truth and reality. You see, same column is written by different journalists in their own way, but the truth that is embedded in that information, and that's called coherence theory of truth. Done? Any confusion? Is that okay for all of you? Let's move on to the next truth. If you have any question, just feel free to ask me. There is nothing wrong. If some of you want me to speak in Odia, I'll try my best. Whatever best. The whole objective is that you should learn at least 1%, minimum 1%, so that 8 days class it will be beneficial to you. Is that okay? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The next one will be pragmatic theory of truth. Pragmatic means practical. You will not just believe what is told to you, you will practice it. And once you find out the benefit, you will be considering that it is a truth. For example, somebody will tell you, don't chew pan and and spit in the office corridor. Since you work in NGO, you will be noticing many bad habits people have been inculcated, isn't it? There's a do not smoke in the public. Do not cross the line if you see the red signal. Right? Those who say that no traffic police is there, what is there? You cross the signal. By the time the other side person, by seeing the green signal, will be coming and hitting you. You see the practical consequence? And therefore it's called pragmatic truth. If somebody tells you that whenever there is a red signal, we should stop it, that means we'll allow the other side people to first go, then only we'll be moving our vehicle or we'll be moving ourselves. If we do not believe in that, then practically there is a bad consequence, and we learn from that. Another example, somebody tells you that, suppose I am living in a very rural area, there is no electricity, or I know that a government is cutting the electricity or power, say from morning to evening and sometimes in the midnight. So somebody tells you that, even though there is no announcement about tomorrow power cut, make sure that you will be having lantern or say candle light or something with you. Why? Because this is a practical experience that if you do not keep anything with you, then the whole night will be dark for you. If you want to search something in the night, if you want to move from one place to another place, pragmatic theory of truth tells you that you must be ready to take care of yourself in the night. So anything that you do practically, you believe something, then you implement it practically, and the result you get it. If that leads to the truth, you say this is pragmatic theory of truth. That this is how the reality can be explained in philosophy. Now you relate it to management, you relate it to basic science, you relate it to applied science like medical science, engineering science, social science, humanities, all the discipline that comes to your mind. You'll find that everybody knows about the truth of the world, either of any means, either through correspondence theory or through coherence theory or through pragmatic theory. If we exclude these three theories, nobody would be able to obtain the truth about the world. In other words, nobody would be able to know the reality of the world. And this is how we explain the truth of the world, the truth of the reality. Got it? These are the theory. Now think, suppose you are doing chemistry or biomedical science. You will be mostly adopting the pragmatic theory of truth. Suppose somebody is working on Odia language. You will be believing on coherence theory of truth by reading so many literature here and there. Suppose you are a mechanical engineering person. So then you will be believing pragmatic theory of truth mostly. You do practically. If you fail, you look for alternative and reach to a conclusion or a solution. Is that okay for all of you now? These three areas of truth. Shall I move on next?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, coming to your question, the difference between physicalism and idealism. Physicalism is something to do with physical objects, physical world. You will say, what are the things that include? That include you, me, our body which is perishable, which is not permanent. Huh? Then objects that we use, these are mostly physicalism. An object or an entity that is verifiable by us, that is known to us through our sense organs. That's called physicalism. That an object exists and we cannot rule out its existence. And whenever an object exists, it exists with certain space and time. That's called physicalism. What is idealism? And whenever idealism says that even though that object doesn't exist in front of you, still you have an idea about it. I'll give an example. If you come to my place, I'll take you to a rose garden where you will be able to see so many beautiful flowers of roses of having different colors. In addition to that, you will be able to see so many butterflies that will be flying with different colors and sitting on the petals of the roses. Now, neither you have come to my place, nor I have taken you to the garden, nor that garden exists in that sense, nor the butterflies are flying at all. But all of you have created an image in your mind. Yes or no? Yes, is it possible? Now, all the beautiful images you created in your mind. Yes or no?
Yes.
How did you do that?
Yes, sir.
If you ask your friend, they'll say that, oh, I imagine all yellow color butterflies. Somebody say, I have imagined yellow, red color, pink color butterfly. So different people have a different imagination, and that's nothing but an idea about a worldly affairs, about a fact, about an event that is not there in front of you, but still you understand it because of an idea. I'll say idea of human being. A person can be tall, short, bulky, slim, so on and so forth. But idea of human being, that is eternal. Irrespective of our existence, the idea of human being will remain as it is. Similarly, if you say river, जो मान सब बालेश्वर आसचो कि बालेश्वर अच्छो पाखापाखी तमे जानते सुनो नदी इज दैट करेक्ट बालेश्वर को मान सब आसचो ना
ଆଜ୍ଞା
sir.
Okay, I say Suno Nadi, Bolanga Nadi, Gangara Nadi, something like that. There are some rivers, yeah. So now all the rivers are having different width and length. Therefore, we name it differently, right? But nevertheless, the river, the concept of river is one and the same. Correct? Suppose I'll say Mahanadi River, Kathojodi River, and all these things. So river is one, but the names are different. Why? Because there is a commonality among all the river that we conceived through ideas. This is how the difference between idea and material object. So physicalism talks about certain objects that you verify. Idea is something that you conceive. Now remember one statement which I'm going to make. Only human beings can create an idea. Only human beings have an ability to create a thought or idea of an object or a fact. No other living creatures can do that. This has been tested. If you ask a monkey cannot do that. If you ask any reptile, they cannot do that. If you ask a chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan, all this, even dogs, they cannot have an idea. An idea is required as semantics. An idea requires a semantics. You guys are acquainted with semantics? No, semantics means meaning something. Yeah. Suppose I'll say, what is this? You can't say this is an object. You'll say this is a dot pen. So dot pen means it has certain connotation. It is used for writing. It has a cap. It has a refill. It has a below side. It has a space where you can hold it. Something like that, isn't it? All these get translated in a meaning. And once something that translated in meaning, you acquire a thought. You acquire an idea, and that's a part of idealism. So therefore, as a philosophy professor, I would say that you and me, we should not discriminate human beings based on their religious practice. Why? Because all are human being coming as in one form. That's an idea. Only thing that they adopt a different means to reach their goal. And goal is something which is not visible. Because nobody has seen the God. Nobody has seen the Allah. Nobody has seen Jesus Christ. These are just objective of the life. Those are religious believer. The means is like what are the festivals you and me we celebrate? What are the clothes that you wear? What are the way we invite people on the festival date? Right? So these are the means to achieve the end. That is trying to understand what is the supernatural entity, which is not visible to any religious people across the globe. So therefore, human being is the only one religion. There is no second religion on this earth. That is called humanism. Like you say, Christianity, humanism, Hinduism, Muslim, and all these things, religion, even Sikhism. To me, if you ask, humanism is the only religion on this earth. There is no second religion because human beings are only unique species. They have an ability, an inherent capacity to have an idea about the supernatural entity, no other people. Done. Shall I move to the next one then about consciousness?
Yeah.
Consciousness is a scientific term. Mostly the religious guru or religious preacher, they would tell you that, oh, if you consider this God, that Lord, if you pray in the early morning, late night, something, if you are a Sanatan Dharma or if you belong to Christianity, belong to Islam, belong to say Parsi, belong to Sikh, then you will have a different belief to different belief, different faith, and all these things to understand consciousness. But that's nothing to do with research. A research work says that consciousness is a fundamental principle on this universe. You understand fundamental principles like time, space, magnitude. Huh? Suppose I'll say the place where you are sitting, you occupy certain space, yes or no? Yeah, you occupy in certain space. So that space is just a small fragment of the eternal space. Even though you take out your chair, even though you stood up and moved to another space, still the earlier space would be treated as a space. Yes or no? So space is an eternal entity. Irrespective of our existence, space would be there. Similarly, time, irrespective of our availability to do a particular work, time will be there. So therefore, we say time is very precious. Today, time is not going to come to your life and my life until the last breath. Today, if today time we have wasted some time in our whole life. It is not going to come in the future in any ways. Your money, you can earn it. Your life, you can lead a happy life. But today time, if you waste or I waste, we are not going to get the same time in future. So therefore, time is very precious for our life. Is that okay? So therefore, I would say, look here, consciousness that explains the space, consciousness that explains the time, consciousness that explains your existence and my existence. Suppose you'll ask me, what do you mean by consciousness? I say it is some entity, it is some force, it is some spirit that makes you alert, that realizes you that sometime back or yesterday you slept, you went to a subconscious state, and because of its unique mechanism, in the morning when you woke up, you got full consciousness. And if you closely observe the whole day, the work that you do, you will find like ECG graph. How many of you have read the ECG medical report? You see it's like going like this, up and down, up and down. Ambrish, isn't it? Is that ECG report that goes like this? So every seconds, every minute, the consciousness goes up and down, up and down. So say, let's say 2 minutes before you are more conscious. Now you are less conscious. Down the line, 1 minute, you will be having more than the first conscious state. So this is how the time when we born on this earth, you observe the consciousness. The time when we share our death, we lose our consciousness. So consciousness is a fundamental principle. Because of that, even a mad person or a sound person, they understand the world, they work differently in the world, and because of this, we differentiate one object from another object. When I say differentiate, I mean the internal differentiation. For example, I have given you a green apple and red apple. Even though both are apple, you can still differentiate, saying that this is green apple and that's red apple. Both of them belong to same category. This is internal differences. Another difference, I'll say, an apple is different from an orange, even though both are fruits. You see that? Now then I'll say an apple is different from an iron rod. So that becomes another category. So all these things happen because of consciousness. If consciousness is taken out from our life, then this body becomes a material body. It cannot function on its own. It even cannot digest the food on its own. So since Snigdha did chemistry and Ambrish, you did mechanical engineering, you know that there's an anesthesia specialist. You know what they do? For an operation, they will find out how much doses they have to inject so that in a given operation time, he or she would lose consciousness on that part of the body, isn't it? After that, the body will be put in the ICU. Why? Because they'll say we'll be waiting and watching when the body will retrieve the consciousness. So that means there's a stage where subconsciousness, we may not be knowing anything that is happening in and around us. The time when we get consciousness, everything becomes conscious for us. Correct? And this is how the consciousness works. In philosophy professors, cognitive science professors, computer scientist professors, then biotechnology professors, then your cognitive biologist professors, all of us, neurologists, anesthesia specialists, all of us, we work on consciousness. And therefore, consciousness studies is a unique branch in philosophy that gives you a multiple jobs, that gives you so much opportunity to work as a researcher in future. You see that the horizon of philosophy. There are many philosophers, they work on academic ethics, they work on animal ethics, they work on environmental ethics. So those who work on environmental ethics, they can work with sustainable development and so on and so forth, along with some NGO people. Yes or no? Embrace. Those who work on animal ethics, you may not become a social scientist, rather you will be a researcher by core. You will be having an argument to defend why animal is a sentient being, why we should take care of them, something like that. How many of you are dog lover or cat lover or pet, any pet? Oh, you are there. Snigdha, you are smiling, means 50-50 something. Okay, 50-50, I understood. Pankajini, you are like 30-70 something like that. Difficult to say. Okay, no, very good. Okay, and so Supriya joined later. Supriya, can you switch on your video? I'm not able to see you. I didn't interact with you. Oh, Supriya left. Oh, wow.
Also, sir, if we could also get your like background about the how you entered into philosophy and what is your area of research.
I work on mostly contemporary research like engineering ethics. I work on applied ethics, academic ethics. I work on consciousness studies, free will, and philosophy of mind. And of course, I work on logic, analytic philosophy, and partly Indian philosophy pertaining to Buddhism, Vedantic studies, where consciousness from like figures, now philosophy, and all these things. So if you Google my name called Satya Sundar Seth, you'll be able to see my details, my credentials, my books, and everything. So my book called Orthodox System in Indian Philosophy, all the units written by me, it's available for all of you. It's IGNO. IGNO is printing that book nicely, and it is used by UPSC candidates almost in every coaching centers. So besides that, you will have my book on logic, and in that book is mostly studied by computer science students, mathematics students, and philosophy students, where you will find sentential logic, predicate logic, symbolic logic, so and so. Yeah. Besides that, you will have engineering ethics, a book which is the second edition has come out, something like that. So you'll be able to see other work and so on and so forth. So if you work something on contemporary research areas, you'll have plenty of opportunity to understand the world, to put yourself into different perspective, and the sky is the limit. Okay, so I work on consciousness studies with many neurologists, many biologists, many computer scientists, many cognitive psychologists, so on and so forth. Yeah. Okay. So just for one hint, I can tell you that before you perform an action, 550 milliseconds prior to that, your brain functions. So around 200 milliseconds prior to your actions, your free will works. That's an experimental study. That's called hemisphere test. Hemisphere test means something that you go to an eye clinic. They'll put your chin and forehead straight to see that whether your eyeball revolves, whether you'll able to look front, right side, front, left side, down, left side, right side or not, how much that eyeball revolves. That means how much liquid you have in the eye space, right? Is it getting thicker or thicker, something like that. So through cephalogram or electromyophogram, they are testing it, something you may not be knowing it now. So these are the experimental study for which you can able to derive some conclusion. That's a part of consciousness studies. What exactly happened in the brain as a result, my voice is decoded in your brain or your voice is decoded in my brain, all these things. All right. So therefore, in Indian philosophy, we will be dealing with notion of consciousness from multiple perspectives. Like as you said, Vedantic traditions. How many of you know about Sankaracharya, Adiguru Sankaracharya?
Yeah, I know.
You know about Adiguru Sankaracharya? Anyone else? Josna Patra, Sudhir, Satan, Vishnu Priya. All of you know about Sankaracharya. Hey, you guys are not there. Hello, are you there? In online, we can knock the door all day. Hello, are you there? Hello, are you there? Are you there? Not there? Okay, fine. Okay, so we have Adi Guru Sankaracharya called Advaita Vedanta. You heard about Advaita Vedanta?
Yes.
Yes, it says that Eko Ishwara, the concept of two, doesn't arise. What it says in Sanskrit, Eko Ishwara Ditya Nasti. So it means only and only one entity, that is supernatural. In their word, they said it's called Brahman. You heard about what Brahman? Brahman, Brahman. Yeah. They say whatever you see on this earth, it's all are the byproduct of Brahman. If you eliminate the concept of Brahman from the worldly affairs, nothing can be explained to us. Nothing could be understood by us. That's the concept of Brahman. Now you will say, how shall I know the concept of Brahman? Hey, these are the part of, hello, these are the part of the content. Huh? By the way, I'm not gossiping here and there. If you go through the content, you will be able to notice it. Huh? Don't get misunderstanding saying that a professor started gossiping. No, I do not have any intention to gossip. Rather, these are the questions you may get it as an assignment form. These are part of the content I'm covering. Is that okay to all of you? Of
Yes,
course,
sir.
that's a question asked by Ambrish in the
Yes,
beginning.
sir.
Yes, I'm trying to answer Ambrish in a very wider perspective. So, Advaita Vedantins, they said Brahman is real. Now, you'll ask me, what kind of reality? You said transcendentally real. What it means, transcendental real? Anything that is real, which is empirically real, you, me, and all of us, we can verify it. Say, this is my dot pen, this is my index finger, this is middle finger, this is ring finger, etc., etc. These are reality which you can verify. But there is something beyond this reality. You will ask me, what is that? I say that you might have seen, say Ambrish, you might have seen the Sambalpur city. Let's say, if I say that, can you explain me all the shops in a particular place? You can say yes. But if I ask you, can you tell me what are the products each shops are having stocks? Now, you will not be able to answer because there's so much variety. Your knowledge will not be there. Suppose in chemistry, I'll say, you know so many colors. Rainbow has 7 colors. I'll ask, what is red color for you? Can you explain? You said that's a difficult question. You know what is red color, but you cannot explain what is it. Yes or no? Can you explain what is green color? You say some composition, let's say, if you know something in chemistry, if you have done MSc in chemistry, but that composition can infer or can correspond to a different setting of the green color, which I do not want or which I do not mean. Possible? Because the green color has a different setting altogether, which you
Yeah.
will be able to know through the computer systems. है कि नहीं? So in that sense, I would say no knowledge that you, me, and all of us will possess is an absolute knowledge, is a concrete knowledge. Because every day we possess the new knowledge. Every time we have an urge to learn from others. We believe that beyond us there must be somebody else who possesses all the knowledge about worldly affairs. Because the world cannot be created accidentally. The world must be created with a purpose, and therefore there is a uniformity that is maintained. What is that uniformity? You see morning, there is sunshine. You never see morning which is sunset. And you see the rays of the sun in the morning and noon time are too different in magnitude. And the same sun rays would be getting dimmed when we'll be experiencing the evening or say dusk time. Correct? So in this way, you will find there is an equilibrium that's automatically taking place. ओडिशा आम घर माने आपण माने सब जानिथिबे जोटा every year we get cyclone, flood or something like that. Coastal area, so many people lost their life, so many people lost their animals, birds, and so and so. But still the life sustains. After some time, your emotion disappears. If you lose somebody from someone with whom we have emotional attached, initially we feel pain, suffering, but slowly as time passes, it's faded away. Because other important things comes to our mind. So this is how knowledge is about. Whatever knowledge we possess, whatever information we possess, it's extremely limited in nature. So therefore, every human being, since you and me, we have an ability called rationalism, an internal ability, an essential ability to acquire more knowledge. We can possess the knowledge to some extent. We may not be able to possess the knowledge about each and everything. And therefore, we presume, underline the word, therefore we presume the fact that somebody must have created the world for a particular purpose, which is beyond our comprehension, which is beyond our knowledge, which is beyond our understanding. And therefore we say it must be a conscious force. That's the Brahman. In another example, I'll tell you, how shall we appreciate the notion of Brahman, which is transcendentally real? Now, how many of you believe in planting the trees or suppling the trees? How many of you believe in suppling or planting some kind of like supplings? ତମାନ ଭିତରୁ କୋଉମାନେ ଗଛ ପଛ ଲଗାଉଛ ସବୁ ମ ଆମ୍ବ ଗଛ ପଣସ ଗଛ ବାଇଗଣ ଗଛ ଏଟସେଟ୍ରା ଏଟସେଟ୍ରା କୋଉ ଗଛ ଲଗାଇଛ ସ୍ନିଗ୍ଧା what are the trees that you have planted?
All kind of flowers.
All kind of flowers, gendu phula,
Mm.
Surjamukhi phula, something like that. Look,
Yes, sir.
a plant comes out from a seed. I'll move one step ahead. A big tree that you see today comes out from the seed. And the big tree that you see so many branches, having so many flowers, so many fruits, so many leaves, comes out from a seed. And that seed is a very small one, which comes within our palm, which is very minute. But when it is sown on the soil, down the line 10 years, 12 years, you see such a gigantic tree that has n number of branches, n number of that width of the trunk. If it spills out or splits itself, then you'll see how is it possible that all this big trunk, so many branches, so many flowers, so many fruits are inherently embedded in that seed before you sown into the earth. All these bigger things that you see today are inherently embedded in the small seed. So, because of an inherent force in that seed, you, me, and all of us, we are experiencing it's a big tree. And in this way, we'll say a force that lies in each and every entity which is not visible to us directly, that's nothing but called Brahman. Suppose when you open your eyes, something is visible to you. How does it happen? If you are a neuroscientist, you say because of your frontal cortex. My question, therefore, who who is responsible for your frontal cortex to function, or what caused your frontal cortex to function? Does it function automatically, or somebody is responsible for that? So all the questions still a part of the research questions, because brain, the nerve system cannot fire the electron automatically. In other words, the cerebral system of the brain cannot fire the electrons on its own. It requires certain regions or the causes to happen. ଧର ତମର ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱର ଏୟାରପୋର୍ଟ ଯିବାର ନଥିବ, but why did you book a cab to go to airport? In that way, they say the consciousness that's hidden in a seed in such a manner that after a few hours we understand the nature of consciousness that spreads, and that's the region. Yes, Anbarish.
So Advaita Vedanta, Brahma, like for example, we understand that I am separate as Ambarish Mishra, and I don't know what power is driving my breathing and all that. So in Advaita Vedanta, do they say that Brahma is still intact and is never broken?
Yes.
Yeah.
What they say in, okay, you finish.
Yeah, so my question is, this idea of separateness, this multiplicity, I think that Advaita Vedanta is saying this multiplicity is illusion, or it is due to ignorance.
No.
Is it correct?
No.
Or how? What is the like how, like they use Paramarthik Satya and Vyavaharik Satya, absolute reality and transactional reality. How can absolute become transactional? That is what perplexes me,
Okay.
because
Okay, I'll say what is Vaivarika Satya and Paramarthik Satya. Vaivarika Satya means we know something for our conventional purpose. We know something for our conventional purpose. If we are telling this object is a dot pen, this is for our convention, just for our understanding. But that's not the true nature of this object. But Paramarthika Satya means besides the empirical truth, there is something else that connects all the conventional truth, known as Paramarthika Satya. That is,
so
yeah,
fundamental truth is the Paramarthik Satya, is it right?
yes,
So how can Vyavaharik Satya emerge in the first place?
oh,
Like if I am suppose in my home, then why will I go outside my home only to return back to my home?
correct.
Means
I got it. So now the Advaita Vedanta is explained in the following way. Brahman is the ultimate reality on the top. Is that okay? Now Brahman is pure consciousness. It's having all the forces that you see on the earth, all the possible forces. It's pure consciousness. Now it desires to create and worldly objects. How did it do that? He endowed with Maya that time. When Brahman is conscious, when it desires to create an object, it endowed with a Maya. It's a kind of, I would say, an aura. It's a kind of, I would say, when there is a raindrop falls in the rainy season, you see some kind of pulp, isn't it? And by the time you ask your friend to look at it, it dissolves there. So that's called Maya. It's a magic. It's an illusion. So Brahman endowed with the illusion or the Maya. And because of that, it creates many objects on this earth. Out of the many objects, some objects have life, like amoeba, reptiles, creatures, animals, human beings, birds, and so on and so on. Other category of objects do not have life. And therefore they say when a life ends, when we share our death, the self which comes from, which comes from the Brahman, it goes back to the Brahman. So the concept of the force, concept of self that doesn't die, only the material objects that mingles with Pancha Mahabhutas. That is the explanation. Come on, the question, yes.
So, what was the purpose for Brahma to create this world through Maya?
Okay, correct. The Advaita Vedantins answer that the Brahman creates the world multiple ways merely because the Brahman wants that all the varieties people should be able to live unitely and one has to depend on others. So the question of ethics, the question of benevolence, the question of prudence, the question of courage, the question of justice should be spreaded in the whole cosmos. That is the purpose for him.
No, but why should people be dependent on each other? Why did Brahma wanted to become the many?
Bec- Okay, I would say Brahman wants to create an object on this earth merely because Brahman wants to see that how his creation is bringing a balance while living on this earth, how it is making a relation with others, how it is living in a particular society where there is a we feeling, togetherness, how he or she able to become an unique person and solve the purpose. In ordinary words, Advaita Vedantins they say, since we born on this earth, our main purpose is to service the mankind. And if you serve the mankind, then you will serve to the God. That is the purpose.
But what does for serving the mankind for what? Because serving the mankind is a means to an end. So what is the why
Service,
I should?
we need to serve the people merely because we are not self-sufficient for everything. There are many individuals they are less capable of, and we depend on others for some other ways. For example, somebody is earning salary, money. He or she has to depend on the farmer's product. The farmers also depend on somebody else. So therefore, the theory of dependence is causally connected. And because of this causal connection, Brahman created one after another objects on this earth.
So it seems I'm inferring that we are here for enjoying the diversity that is there.
I would not say enjoying. I would say that we are here to do two things clearly. The first thing is to appreciate how the world has been created by the Almighty. Second, in what ethical ways we will be relating to each other to take care of our needs and other needs. So basically, there are two purposes for everyone's life.
So why, when you say needs, it only means that it's not desires, it's only needs.
Yes.
So, but then, desires are there. That is also fact.
Desires come only when people fail to understand or people are ignorant that they need so many lavish things for their
But,
life.
but this ignorance is present in nature itself.
No, ignorance is not presented. Ignorance we
So,
acted because we do not have a correct knowledge about world.
no, but because we are emerging from nature, we are emerging from Jadta, we are
Hmm.
emerging from some material, like consciousness created a material platform out of which again consciousness emerged, isn't it?
No, no,
Because
no.
so how consciousness emerged?
Brahman is pure consciousness. Brahman, when it desires to create objects on this earth,
So
it can,
Brahman can desire, right?
Brahman has a desire.
So one question is coming, if it is complete in itself, so then it is still feeling a lack because of which it is desiring.
No. When somebody desires, that's a voluntary. When
Okay.
Brahman have a desire, that's not to be equated with human desire. Human desire is something in economics, it is told to all of you that one desire satisfied means another desire crops up. That's the nature of human being. But in case of Brahman, it is not so. Brahman voluntarily wants to create an object not for himself, create an object for earthly use or earthly usage.
It is not for himself that he is doing it.
Hmm.
It's am I correct in understanding that Brahma has no self-centered
Yes.
interest? Then, but that time there is no creation. So for whom he is creating this world? Because he only exists.
No, no, you're getting confused. The question would be that why does Brahma create the world? Is that the
Yes,
question?
yes, yes.
Brahma created the world to show his power, to show his benevolence, that how much human life or the other living creature can create on this cosmos. If he is alone, nobody is going to appreciate the pure consciousness that he's having.
So
So
that's a selfish desire, no? Because we are not there.
no. If we say this is selfish, then the whole world creation cannot be understood by anybody else. Since we are the human being, we have limited knowledge. Brahman considers something to be created on this earth for our purpose. But if we put in this way, Brahman is selfish, therefore Brahman creates the world, that becomes going in a reverse way. If Brahman, let's say Brahman, assume that, let that logic persist for some time. I'll say Brahman is selfish, therefore Brahman has created the world.
Yes.
If we say so, then I would say that the selfishness is for good for the public, good for the society, good for the cosmos. But that selfish should not be used in an ordinary way. It should be used in a spiritual way. For example, I'll say in Sankhya philosophy, the first product of the cosmos is called Mahat. In many production, Mahat, mind means brain, huh? Manas. Then you will have an ego. Ego is a product of ego is a product of evolution, world evolution. So now you'll ask me how. I'll say, look, there's a frog. You take a stick, make like the stick has a shadow in front of the frog. The frog will jump because he or she will afraid that there may be a snake. Similarly, since you will be seeing the geographical channel, you will see the deers will start jumping by seeing in a long distance that a tiger is trying to come close to them and to kill them. So therefore, there is an ego for every sense. And if the tiger fails to catch the deer, you see the frustration in case of a tiger. Similarly, in case of a human being, we are also having an ego. And that ego is equivalent with self-respect. Ego is not arrogance. Arrogance means something that you always, you, me, and all is a second person plural. That we say, I possess, I belong to so and so. These are called arrogance. But when you say that, me as an individual, as a creation of the God having life, that's merely an ego that takes your that helps to get an identity on this earth. So therefore, any living creature that you see, ego is an essential element that is given when he or she is born on this earth. Like you have five sense organs for human being, then karmendriya, then gyanendriya, and all these things. But this selfishness, what you are referring to, it's not like human selfishness.
Yeah, so it is good. Like it's natural.
It is inherently embedded in the whole cosmos creation. And that is merely because we need to have an identity for a Brahman. We need to have
So,
an inferential knowledge. Yes.
so why it is problematic to say life is for enjoyment? That is what I am not able to understand.
Okay. If we say life is for enjoyment, now the question of enjoyment is to be
Which is like to me is a like we all want to have good life, good home, good relationship, good like parks, cities, no violence. Okay, and everything we do is like, to me it is a self-evident truth that every movement that we do is to maximize our enjoyment. At the very least, that desire could encapsulate society also. I may feel happy by making food for others,
yeah.
but at the very least, it looks that it is for making things enjoyable here. But Advaita says that your aim is to realize that you are not separate. This is your aim. That confuses me.
Okay. Here I'll answer that. How Advaitas are explaining this. They say that since we born on this earth, we suppose not to think about ourselves every time. Like if I do something, what benefit I get it? If I do something, what are the way my family members will get benefit or I personally will get benefit? If I do certain actions that would help the others means not me alone, others. Sometimes you extend saying that others that include me, that's also fine. If you do that action, that itself a realization of true Brahman, because there is no vested interest that you have.
So, but we are doing it for Brahma or because we are doing it, the meaning of life I am trying to understand. Meaning, because the whatever we are doing, it cannot be dissociated from why Brahma created this. Because the whatever is in the tree must be in the seed.
Yes.
So the reason why Brahma created this world, the same reason we would also be operating, we cannot go up, move away from that truth. The reason I am seeing within myself is that everybody should be happy and for enjoyment only we are here. That is why Brahma became many. This to
Okay.
me is logical.
Okay.
But when we say that we have come here just to do ethical actions and if you desire little more, it is not good. But I am saying that why it is not good. Desire, we can make arrangement for everybody's desire. Why only limit to needs?
If I understood your question correctly, it's mixed up many questions, but I'll try to.
Okay, what is the meaning of life? That is the crucial question for me.
Okay. According to Advaita Vedantics, the meaning of life can be realized through three things: Sravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Sravana means we need to hear the scriptures. We need to understand the ethics and values of society. That's called Sravana. Manana means we need to introspect, we need to critically evaluate, we need to reflect on it based on our cultures, based on our beliefs, based on our economic condition, political ideology. Then we need to find out which one to be performed and which one need to be discarded. That's a manana. Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means contemplations. Contemplation means once we perform an action, we need to self-evaluate to find out whether it is the action that we have performed for our pleasure exclusively or for my pleasure exclusively or the benefit of the society. So now the meaning of life is not to do any action, keeping in mind solely or exclusively the performer will get the benefit. Rather, any action that we perform while living in a society, it should holistically benefit the whole society, whether it is a small group or larger group or a bigger larger group. So the meaning of life says that since we born on this earth, if we help others, if we carry out certain action that would lead the good consequence or that would end up with a good consequence which benefit others, that's nothing but a realization of Brahman. So meaning of life is nothing but realization of a Brahman creation on this earth.
But Brahma was already in realized state. So why he created this state where I am not, my consciousness devolved into a state of dissociation from Brahma.
I would say Brahma, Brahman. It's not Brahma. We would say Brahman. Brahman is an ultimate. Brahma is just a god, Hindu god, right? So there's a distinction.
Brahma.
Brahman, not Brahma. It's a Brahman.
Yeah.
So Brahman created the worldly objects because he wanted all of us to realize the true nature of Brahman and its relation to others.
Sir, what I'm not able to understand, when Brahman was there, there were no human beings.
Yes.
So how could he create it for us to realize? That cannot be motive, na? Because we are not there, world is not there, only Brahma Tattva exists. Only Brahman exists.
Let's say I'll give an example so that you'll understand. One person is left in an island where there is no other individuals living, no other living creature, no object, just an island. Somebody is just living, just for an imagination, as an analogy, yeah? Not an example. One person having everything, food, shelter, luxury life. There is nobody on that island, not any other creature, nothing else. Would you consider that's a society? Would you consider that's an experience? Would you consider that is a reality? Would you consider that is a truth? Nothing.
I didn't understand. I am there alone in an island,
A
and
person is left in an island,
okay.
and he or she is having all the resources for his or her food or his or her luxury life and so on and so forth. But besides that, there is nobody available. No human beings available, no birds are available, no other creatures are available, no sea life is available, nothing is available. Would that be a society? Would that be an
No,
experience? Would that be a reality?
that would be experience, but it will not be like I will want more
No, it will be experienced by whom?
of myself.
Correct. So therefore, Brahman would think that I possess everything. So further, what I need to have an experience, I should create a world where they can have experience about me. I should be able to produce something so
So
that they can able to experience.
if only we reduce it to experience, then beating someone is also an experience.
No,
No,
that's
but
I would say
suffering experience.
no. This is going in a different route. I would say that doing unethical practices is not encouraged by any of these religious groups.
That I understand,
Mm.
but I am, if my motive was, if I am Brahman for one moment and I want to create the world for the experience of diversity, then if I don't put enjoyable life in that definition, then bad experience also is an experience.
No, they say enjoyable life for ordinary people, those who are ignorant, those who do not possess the correct knowledge. They think that having so much money, having so much power, dancing on the floor, making all sorts of social nuisance becomes enjoyment. These are not true form of enjoyment. These are the diversion of ethical practices.
So why they did this?
Well, God has not created an atmosphere for human beings to do that. It is the ignorant mind, they indulge with some sort of practices, and therefore God is there to create a balance. You
So
say
in Advaita, God exists like theism, like it's a theistic, like God also exists and separately my consciousness also exists.
consciousness again is a different thing. You are bringing so many things into one point. Consciousness
No,
spreads
you said
across.
God. That is why I said
when you
God
when you say
balance.
Brahman, God, consciousness, society, it's just so many things coming together. It's not going in a proper direction. The question is that if God is consciousness, why He creates so many conscious objects on this earth? That's a good question. But you are bringing ethics, you are bringing consciousness, you are bringing Brahman, you are bringing unethical practices. Those would be going different channel altogether. Now your question should be: if God is so powerful, why He will create a situation for a human being to do unethical practices? Do you mean
No,
that?
no. My question, why God? My question was always from the very beginning only one thing: why would Brahman create the world?
That's I answered no.
So you said to experience diversity because imagine you gave an analogy that imagine you are in an island and you are alone. That would not be called an experience. So therefore, you want an experience of diversity where others are also there, and you want a good experience. I said this good experience only I am calling as enjoyment.
No, that's not true, because enjoyment is something. If it is a, say there are different levels: empirical enjoyment, spiritual enjoyment, so and so. Even stealing a ATM is an enjoyment for some people, but that's not an enjoyment other the Vedanta is prescribed. Somebody would stop the mind to understand something, and that's not an enjoyment. For example, you ask a thief or a dacoit saying that, hey, don't do that, there is a jail for you. They'll say that, no, 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 that's my enjoyment. I enjoy while living in jail. That's not an enjoyment. So enjoyment is
But
misrepresented by some ignorant people. Therefore, Brahman gives some kind of knowledge to the human beings to differentiate what is ethics and values and how ethics and values, keeping in mind we should perform our actions. So there are ignorant mind, they only indulge with unethical practices, and Brahman has not created them to indulge into unethical practices merely because they do not use their reasoning, merely because they do not understand their true nature of self. For what purpose they created, they indulge into unethical practices. And Brahman is not going to endorse this kind of unethical practices.
no, so at the very root, each human being, so at least the people who have realized Brahman, they will be able to tell why that person is doing wrong things. So you said that it is because of ignorance. Should I limit my questioning here and we can do it separately, or how? Because
Uh,
it will go little deep, because things are connected. What I can do about
Yes,
this?
I would answer with one question, then I'll move on further. Huh? So I would say this ignorance is something that many people, they are so ignorant that they cannot identify that they themselves are ignorant, and therefore they run behind power, they run behind position, they run behind wealth, and so on and so on. And as a result, they start suffering and blame the ultimate God. An example, like without naming anybody, imagine a situation, a person who is not an educated person, who does education means not about certification, education means understanding the true nature of the world, who doesn't understand anything about the world, who runs behind the power, enjoys the power, runs behind the wealth, enjoys the wealth. At the end, he or she suffers every moment, every time. And this is the result comes because there is an ignorant mind that is not even helps him or her to realize
But
what is ignorance. Yeah,
child is also ignorant, na?
child and adult are two different human beings. That's what
No,
whenever a child does
but
something,
then who is responsible for the suffering that a child is undergoing?
child never suffers according to Advaita Vedanta if parents are created them and are ready to take care of them. So therefore, parents should not consider child as a byproduct for themselves. They should be able to take responsibility, accountability before they create a life on this earth.
No, we said all suffering is because of ignorance.
Yes.
Yes, but child is also suffering, and also there are some child who do not suffer. There are poor children who suffer. There are affluent people whose children have all the facilities.
Mm.
So how can, so ignorance in that case is not the causative factor for their suffering?
Yeah, ignorance is the cause for parents to create a life, and therefore that's that life who has created on this earth.
No, but that child didn't do anything for that, no.
No, no, there's a causal connection for everything. It's not when we are adult, we'll be responsible for our own action. But when a baby is born for some time and growing stage to the adult, so the parent should be responsible. It is a causal connection. It's like mechanical engineering.
So
You have an
this
you,
causal connection does not go to Brahma,
no, it
because
doesn't.
as an adult, if I want two cars, what is the problem now? Because this is a natural inclination of me that I want two cars.
Oh, okay. Now I'll tell you, Ambrish. Then this argument will not end here. Suppose you want two cars. After 2 days, you'll say I can go for four cars. Then after few times, you say you need a
No, but
luxury flats.
yes, but I don't think that people are like that. People get satiated.
No, no, no.
People,
That's a wrong impression you carry out. Somehow you
no,
didn't understand the world clearly.
no,
Those those who are mostly having wealth and power, no, they just
no,
anchor for one after another things.
no, according to me, people in a competitive ecosystem, if we have a competitive economics, people will need to hold on to power. It's the by virtue of the bad economic system, not because they are corrupted. I will give you an example. there was a time when their water supply management was not good, so people would kill each other for wells. When water supply management was made proper, to whatever degree, it's not perfect, but to whatever degree, people didn't kill each other for water. So to me, human being is not the problem, it is the system that we have adopted does not take care of all our wishes, so we need to acquire power to safeguard ourselves.
No, then
If
it is a part of sociology, part of political science and sociology, not philosophy.
no, but we are talking about human nature, and we are saying human nature has inherent problem and it is ignorant, so it is problematic and it is the cause of suffering. I am contesting this idea that if human nature was problematic, then the causally it will go back to Brahman itself.
No.
And I posit or propose, I suspect that human nature is not the problem, and Brahma himself became the Brahmand only to experience enjoyment. And once this enjoyment is complete, then again it will recede back to Brahma Avastha in a cyclic fashion. And again we will become Brahmand when Brahma wishes. We will experience the enjoyments because of which we want good government, good, park, health, education, relationships. This is for which this should be the meaning of life.
Like
But if
which book you have studied, or this is your own understanding?
this is our own understanding, this is what we are proposing, that Brahma and Brahma becomes the Brahmand
No, no, no.
speak. No,
That
I'm not saying that Advaita is speaking. I'm
philosophy doesn't work in that way,
no, why this is
because
a new philosophy.
philosophy has a theory, has a logic, has an explanation, elucidation, interpretation, critical evaluation. It's not that anything and everything that part of an argument. So you need to follow certain objectives, certain theories to reach to a particular goal, to answer the research questions. For example, you say water supply, society, structure, all these things will not part of the Brahman.
No,
Brahman,
no,
Brahmanda, and all these things, that not part of Advaita Vedanta. It has a logic, it has a sequence, it has an argument, it has a theory. So now in all your cases, because of your wide experience, you are putting everything into it, and as a result, nothing is coming out from that.
no, sir. I just am contesting the idea.
Huh.
I find that Brahma, on one hand, we are saying it is complete.
Hmm.
On the other hand, we are saying Brahma has a desire to create the world.
Yes.
And then we are saying when you have desires, then it's your ignorance. Don't go after all your desires. Just do good action. Why we are doing good action? We don't know. It's not for enjoyment, that only just to survive. Each other we should survive. That the poor beggar should not die.
Hmm.
And the moment he wants to have two cars, it's problem.
No, no. See, if you have, let's say, a person is having 10 cars, not a
Yeah.
problem. But when that person is a thief, when that person is an unethical, is a
But
immoral, is a corrupt, and snatching others' money and thinking that, oh, I'm doing because Brahman is created, that time he is an ignorant by definition.
no, no. He has reasons. No, philosopher is investigating the reasons why thief is thieving. If we ask the thief, we all have done some theft in our life.
No, no, no.
And
Then all your philosophy becomes about theft, and that's not philosophers practice it.
no, it's human. We are trying to investigate the. We are saying
No, no, no. I would say this, Amrish, your understanding is wrong merely because philosophy doesn't work like here and there. Suppose you say a theft is created by Brahman. I say that which theory you adopted?
no, no. I am not saying theft is created by Brahman.
Then you say that people are doing unethical actions. Therefore, Brahman is responsible. Why?
No, no, no. I didn't say that.
Hmm.
I am saying people, when they do unethical actions, there is a reason they do. It is because of bad system. We should not demonize people. That these are good people, these are bad people.
Mainly, I would suggest, I would think in that way. Like people have a different opinion. You can have your own opinion. That's all right. In philosophy, as we practice, we say that when you say a system, mostly you say that a system is good or bad. You know, the debate will go on, say, months after months, year after years. What is that system? How do you explain the system? What perspectives you have taken? what theories you have taken. Suppose somebody say I'm a Marxist, the whole system can be explained uniquely. Somebody said that I'm a feminist, the whole system can be explained uniquely. Somebody said that I'm rightist, the system can be explained in a very
I understand that,
unique
sir.
perspective. So therefore, all the systems put together, if anything goes wrong in the system and so forth, we cannot causally connect it to Brahman, saying that look, our perspective is different, system is different, everything we do wrongly. If a thief is doing something, stealing, that's merely because he or she is forced to do that. That's not the philosopher's answer.
How, no, no, how it emerged in nature of that person that he
I,
became.
yeah, I would say that education, the way I said, consciousness is a fundamental principle of the universe. Similarly, I would say education is the root cause for all the ignorance.
So,
If we get a proper education, if you have an open mind to understand the world, that would help us to fix the system, to understand the nature of Brahman, to understand the nature of reality. So, most importantly, all the educated person should carry ethics, values in our life. So, there are four cardinal virtues. One is courage, wisdom, prudence, and temperance. These are the four cardinal virtues one should possess, and therefore he or she should live with the basic need of his or her life. If somebody says that I am here to enjoy my life, creating parks and so forth, I say that that needs a further explanation. What you enjoy, you mean second person plural, anybody for that matter. So
so
therefore, somebody say that I am here to service to the people. I am here to teach to the school children. I am here to work in a system as a private organization. All are okay. But only thing that if I say that I am working merely because this is me who is doing that, I have nothing to do with others. Suppose I would say that on the road I will park my
no,
truck.
sir, I am not talking about my personal aim. I'm talking about ultimate aim.
The
Why,
old, you see,
why?
in philosophy, the ultimate aim is four. That's called purusarthas. Some of you might have heard that will
Yeah.
be there. Four purusarthas, four goals of life: artha, kama, dharma, and moksha. Artha means not earning through the unethical and bad means. Earn things based on our skills and intelligence and knowledge. That's artha. Kama means an action that we do based on our skills, physical ability, and mental ability. That is kama. Kama means action. Kama means not necessarily pleasure or bodily pleasure. It's just a performance of actions put together. Then dharma means a duty. Dharma means not religion. Like the duty of water to flow from top to down. The dharma of fire to burn some object. You can see the dharma. So dharma of sun is to illuminate the object so that we can perceive it, or to remove the darkness. This is dharma. And moksha means something, try to dissociate from the worldly attachment and pleasures to a great extent. This is how moksha. Moksha is nothing, something called a pure kind of purity of the self, where a person doesn't need anything to survive on this earth. So these are the four goals of life prescribed by Indian philosophers, endorsed by Advaita Vedantins, Visishta Advaita. That means Ramanuja, Sankaracharya, Ramanuja, Vallabhacharya, Madhavacharya, and all these things. So the whole purpose of human life is to go in the four ways, and depends on us what kind of purusartha that we look for it. Any other questions?
Uh, like my biggest interest now would be to understand the different schools that are there, and to understand the difference in their uh,
Views.
um, views, and a little bit about different versions of moksha also, like.
Of course, we are going to discuss 7 days. 7 days still left. I'll briefly tell you there are two categories in Indian philosophy. When you talk about Indian philosophy, I mean Oriental philosophy. That means South Asian philosophy, right? So here we include Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. Is that okay? Sounds good? Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism.
Just I need to a little bit go
Of
for
course,
1 minute,
of
just
course,
one.
of course, of course. So we are going to discuss therefore heterodox system and orthodox system. Heterodox systems are those that do not believe in the existence of God and Vedas. Orthodox system, those who purely believe in the God and the authorities of Vedas. So now, some of you know Charbaka. Charbaka is a materialistic group, philosopher. Charbaka says the best principle of human life is to eat whatever you like to eat, drink, that is up to your choice. You drink, and then be merry. That means be happy. So what Charbaka philosophy is that just eat whatever you like to eat, drink whatever you like to drink, and at the end, the purpose of life is to be happy life. Charvakas, as a philosophers or scholars, they say there are four goals of human life, but they don't bother about dharma and moksha. They bother about artha and kama. Just perform your action and get the money for your survival. That is one perspective. On the other side, you will see yoga philosophy, Sankhya philosophy, which we are going to discuss in detail. They would say that the life is not eternal. A human being is not eternal. Nothing is permanent on this earth. So, in this context, we do not have our own self identity because our identity is borrowed from the Almighty to a small extent. A fraction of consciousness is there in us. A fraction, and below that fraction, consciousness is there in, say, flies or mosquitoes or something like that. So, mosquito's consciousness and a bird consciousness and eagle's consciousness are two different levels of consciousness. Then an eagle consciousness with an elephant consciousness is a different level of consciousness because bird and elephants, bird and animals, so on and so forth. So therefore, they say that all the consciousness is derived from the root consciousness, and therefore, our objective is to realize the nature of Brahma, that how it spreads across the objects. Some of you must be knowing, those who are fasting, Sattvika food, Rajasika food, Tamasika food. You heard about it. Like Monday, if you go to a Shiva temple, you can't afford to have Rajasika food and Tamas food. Suppose Shivaratri, something like Durga Puja. All of you know about it, isn't it? Let's say Samaleswari Mandir, some festivals. If you are a devotee of that, you can't have Tamasika food. So, in philosophy, it is explained that when the Brahman, that means Purusa, and Prakriti, they come close together, they never intersect, they come close together. So, Prakriti get vibrates. When Prakriti get vibrates, Sattva, Raja, and Tamas, the three gunas are in a disequilibrium platform. So, therefore, you find so many objects on this earth. We are going to explain that. Suppose you take any object that is transparent in nature, let's say milk, water, your mirror, and so on and so forth. The Sattva guna dominates the other two gunas. Suppose you are riding bicycles, riding scooty, thinking something proactively, or doing certain actions. Rajas is dominating the sattva and tamas. Suppose you are sleeping, suppose you are taking rest. Tamas guna is dominating the other two gunas. Now, shut your eyelids for a few seconds and think any object that come to your mind of your choice. You will find one guna that dominates the other two gunas, and therefore the concept of prakriti, the concept of evaluated prakriti is spread across all the living and non-living objects on this earth. Suppose now I'm speaking, the Rajas guna is dominating Sattva and Tamas. Suppose now I'll be just shutting my eyelids and try to concentrate on my own or try to take rest. So Tamas guna is dominating Sattva and Rajas. Similarly, you'll say the whole world is created of multiple objects. But what is the commonality? The three elements should be there: Sattva, Raja, and Tamas, invariably in different proportionate manner. You see the beautiful explanations given in Sankhya philosophy. Then they said, if you read Vaisesika philosophy, they say categories. All the objects that you see on this earth are divided into categories. Water is a liquid category. Objects like table, chair, dot pen are solid categories. There are quality like color, taste, touch, and all these things. These are qualities. Another category. Now, if you eliminate all this category, you, me, and all of us will not be able to experience any objects on this earth. Can you think of water without liquidity? Can you think of any liquid like kerosene, petrol, diesel without liquidity? It's impossible. So liquidity is an essential category that you will find across all these liquid objects. Similarly, the solidity you will find with table, chair, laptop, dot pen, duster, and so on and so forth. These are the category we are going to discuss. These are the physical category. What is non-physical category? Time, space, magnitude, air, and all these things. All right. So therefore, we are going to discuss from say Charvaka philosophy. Next tomorrow we don't have a class, right? We'll have Monday class. Monday we'll be discussing about Charvaka. Is that okay? Charvaka epistemology, Charvaka metaphysics, how Charvakians are looking at the world. What are their explanation about the world? You can consider.
Um, One more thing was about metaphysics, ontology, and epistemology. Some general idea about.
Very briefly, I'll say metaphysics. We have still 4 minutes time. I'll tell you. Metaphysics talks about certain existence and reality that cannot be verifiable by us. It means it cannot be verifiable through our sense organs. For example, God exists. That's a metaphysical reality. Space exists. That's a metaphysical reality. Consciousness exists. Is a metaphysical reality, because we cannot locate it in one place, but at the same time we cannot deny its existence and reality. That's a metaphysical. Epistemology means the theory of knowledge. What are the methods through which we can acquire the truth about the world? What are the methods through which we can acquire the true reality about the world? That's an epistemology. Ontology means something that exists and which can be verifiable empirically through our sense organs or through the laboratory experiment, through observation data. Then you guys know about logic. All of you know about ethics. So these are the things mostly. Axiology means value. Suppose you say a particular entity has an intrinsic value. A particular entity is having an instrumental value. So therefore, these are the words that we are going to discuss in the coming days. Is that okay? So initially we'll
Yes.
start with heterodox, that's Charvaka, Buddhism and Jainism. So then we'll move on to the orthodox. Would that be okay? Then we'll see next 7 days how far we can cover it. Of course, you can have your own questions. Keep it ready. So next class, you should be able to read Charvaka system. Hmm? Charvaka system, Jaina and Buddhism. And we'll see how far we can cover it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Is that okay for all of you? Snigdha, Pankajani and others?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So with this, now in my watch it is 6 o'clock. I think it will be also 6 o'clock in your watch, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll end our class today, and I hope some kind of motivations I have created for you. Take out certain questions, think about it, reflect on it, read about it, and tomorrow Monday class we are going to elaborate about it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.